Ooh, another eBay find. $15 plus $5 shipping. Oops. This is one of those mid to late 1970s or possibly even an early 80s Panasonic AM and FM battery operated radio. And something that makes it a bit interesting is that it has a circular dial, unlike portable radios where they have the vertical up and down tuning dial indicator. This has a circular dial that corresponds both to FM and AM operation. And go figure, the minute I start recording video, they start playing vocal jazz. And also, for its age, the plastic isn't too scratched up or scuffed up, and it's not cracked, fortunately. It's got a metal speaker grill here with the Panasonic logo and a circular speaker that's pretty decently sized. And then on this side we have the volume switch, which also doubles as the power on and off switch. And then the tuning lever, which you can see the circular dial movement. So whether you're on FM or AM, it'll correspond properly to the station you're tuned into. It does have an FM dipole antenna here, which isn't bent or broken, fortunately. I can't say that about many of these vintage radios that I buy. The antenna isn't huge, but it does extend a little bit. And it stays in place, so it's not completely worn out to where it just flops down. It actually stays when you leave it. And this is model number RF-505, made in Taiwan. And this is an FM mono radio, so even if there's a stereo station, you'll only receive it in FM mono. But unfortunately, this only has a mono headphone jack, so even though this is receiving it in mono audio from an FM stereo station, if you plug in your headphones straight to this, you're only going to hear on the left channel of audio, so you have to get one of those mono to stereo adapters. You can get a look at the back of the speaker there. Looks like it's rated for 8 ohms. You have the band selector switch for FM or AM. And it just runs off of 2 basic AA batteries, and they're not corroded. They do have a bit of rust here. I'm wondering what that must be from, because this wasn't here when I first got this radio, and these are brand new batteries. So, but everything's in good condition there. There's no significant corrosion that would prevent it from operating properly. And it's got this red piece of fabric here that's to keep the battery, but it doesn't work well because you can see when I put in the first battery, the red piece of fabric or whatever it is gets stuck behind the first battery. It's supposed to stick out beyond the second battery so you can pull both of them out at the same time. So you can see that this piece of red fabric is behind the batteries. It doesn't come out, so I can't use it to pull out the batteries easily. So I'm wondering if that's how it was made, or maybe somebody cut that. The only problem with this radio is that it seems to need a new volume switch because it's distorting very badly the audio, even when you have it on a very quiet, conservative volume. That it leads me to believe that there's something wrong with the volume switch, because when I first got this radio it was not doing that, and then over time, over use of about a month or two, I've noticed that the audio begins to distort. And if you play with this volume switch ever so slightly and move it forwards and backwards, the distortion will go away completely. And the minute you remove your hand, the distortion will come back.
So even when you're not paying, you're paying.
We're tuned in correctly to the station. We're not off-tuned. And you can probably hear that distortion that's coming in.
Payment credit on select models, plus 3 months of Sirius XM satellite radio. So
I'm used to a lot of my vintage radios, you turn the volume control up towards the top of the unit to raise the volume, but this is the opposite. You put it down. It's kind of confusing if you're used to one way or the other.
Search Mercedes.com.
Okay, we're switched over to AM now. AM is a lot less noticeable because it's so narrow band, you can't really pick up on the distortion.
Place for you and your family, knowing you're approved by Quicken Loans. To learn more about Mortgage First, call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That number again is 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN. Restrictions apply. Rates
I know it's not the speaker that's blown, because when I hook up my headphones to the headphone jack, the audio is just as distorted as when I use the built-in speaker. So I'm going to have to replace that volume control pretty soon.